So this is a bit of a controversial question. So it's something that we quite often come across in our business and our roles, and that is when businesses are at the point where they have either a marketing person or a small marketing team, but they're ready to go to the next level. How do they go about actually creating that marketing team within their business or externally? What skill sets do they need to look for?
That's a great point. If we're looking practically, experience with digital platforms and the digital space in and of itself is always going to be helpful. It is a language in and of itself, and knowing the vocabulary just puts you in much better stead. It lets you hit the ground running. So that's, from a practical point of view, something people should look for. The other thing is, I guess, a little bit more esoteric. If we're looking for the right kinds of people in the digital marketing field, I find the curious people to be most effective. The people who are always looking for the answers. The people who are always trying to solve the problem. The people who see the data and want to know what happened. People who see the gaps in a marketplace and try to fill them. Anyone with that kind of intellectual curiosity is going to be a boon to any marketing department.
Now, I think that was pretty much the answer I thought you were going to give, which is why I asked it. And I think that's one of the challenging things that most businesses do face is, like we said before about some of the other topics we've discussed, is it can seem really daunting. Like the whole topic of marketing and digital marketing, there's so many different variants and so much information that can come at us that we sometimes feel bamboozled, and not like other roles where it's just tick, yes, you have that skill, yes, you have that skill, yes, you have that skill, because in digital marketing, tomorrow there's a new skill on the list and 10 of the other skills are no longer required. So I think that idea or that way of thinking is even more important than actually the skills that are necessarily available. And I think that's how you've built such a great team at Smith Brothers Media as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, they're insanely awesome, but I can't take terribly much credit for it. I try to make it a point to surround myself with the best people that I can. And the combined brain power of the entire team is going to be so much more than the sum of the individual parts. Because, as you mentioned before, the digital marketing space is changing in an instant. And new things are coming up all the time. So one, we need to be across industry news, changes. We need to be agile. We need to be flexible. But two, we need to be more than just looking at what's changing. We need to be embracing what's changing. And something that I try to do from the top level down is have a very open attitude towards marketing, an open attitude towards creativity and innovation, and always striving to change and adapt. And the reason the whole team is great is because they all feel the same way that I do. No one here is driven by anything other than trying to find the best marketing practices that we can do. And if it means that we need to change what we've been doing for the last 5 years, we need to change what everyone's been doing for the last 10 years, we're not going to bat an eye, because we're willing to move forward. And if the data backs up what we're saying, then the data doesn't lie. Everything is just going to be more effective in this new method. Data proves it. We've got a willingness to change, and so we do.
So I think that's one of the things that drew me to digital marketing in the first place, was the fact that it is a young industry. History does repeat itself, sometimes multiple times within a 12-month cycle, and that we're actually able to learn much more rapidly than you can necessarily in other industries. Mm-hmm. And what's really interesting is if you stay learning, you're always going to be ahead, because the old learning that you had is no longer necessarily applicable. Exactly. So I think that's one thing that I love about the team that you've created and the way that we think. So hats off to you, Kale, and the rest of the team. And I want to thank you for joining me today and sharing some of your insightful knowledge.
I love talking, you know me.
Kale, thank you very much, my friend.
Cheers, thanks, James.